Hello everyone, welcome back to RetroComms. Today I'm going to be showing you the phones that were recently sent to me by Tony from Tony's Phone Collection. I would have them here in front of me, but they're in the box and we're not showing any addresses on this channel. This is the third or fourth time I've traded with him, and he always sends good phones. They're packed well. Of course, I always send him some pretty good stuff too. So let's see what we have this time. First off, we have a Motorola E815 that has obviously seen some things. As we look around, we see that the top bezel here is missing, as well as the frame around this screen here. No battery, antenna's gone, keypad looks and feels nice. I can't remember what he said was wrong with this particular unit, but we'll be testing that soon enough. I have a battery for this, so that won't be any problem. Next, we have a Samsung. Can't remember what this is. It came after the U640. It's slightly more advanced than that. This battery cover has been chipped. Now that's strange for a phone this durable. This must have taken a hard impact right here on its side. Maybe this is one he drop tested. Not sure. Got a little bit of wear on the inner screen. Of course, that ding I showed. The battery feels like it's might be in here. I can't really tell with this. This phone is heavy. This is a rather robust phone we have here. It was used in a lot of heavy-duty applications. And no battery. But again, I've got plenty of batteries for this model. Next we have this Motorola, with unknown written on it. It must have some problem that cannot be diagnosed. The hinge feels a little funny and doesn't want to close all the way. Ooh, and I see why. I just noticed that. It is cracked right there. So I'm sure this issue that it has is probably ribbon cable related. There's no antenna there. Let's open this battery cover, maybe. No battery. Wait. No battery. But wait, that is... Where is it saying to insert the SIM card? It goes in there? Looks like a very small SIM card for this era of phone. Unless it was reproduced for a prepaid carrier or something. This is strange. Strange all the way around. Gonna have a good time diagnosing these. An LG on Verizon with media buttons down below. Kind of similar to the capacitive buttons on the Motorola Razer. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. This hinge, that's quite large there. Almost looks like a speaker of some sort, but surely not. But maybe. It is a media phone. No battery, but I'm sure I can find one. LG batteries are pretty common. I have quite a few. Next, we have another Motorola on Singular. I think I have one like this, maybe. Battery cover has some soft touch that's worn. No battery, no SIM. I'll be able to get that one tested pretty soon. Here is a Samsung on Verizon. Keypad feels nice. Screen isn't too bad. Got a little wear here from the keypad. No battery, no battery cover. Wait. But here we have a SIM card slot, which is kind of odd for Verizon phones of this era. And looking around the device for anything unusual. This Samsung port here. Sure, we can see whether or not this one works pretty quickly also. The Motorola, it's the Razer Ve Max, I think, or Max VE. similar to the V3X. Let's remove this battery cover and see for ourselves. Here you can see the model number. This phone allowed for an SD card, which is very nice. At this point, phones were starting to become more media focused, and giving users the ability to store things to an SD card rather than the limited onboard memory was a good feature to have back then. And this will go nicely with my collection of Motorola Razers. I'll just have to find a compatible battery. This little LG on Autel. I had one like it at one point that was locked with a PIN number. Its housings might have been in better shape, so I could probably give this one a bit of a restoration if it is fully functional. Because I can't remember what was wrong with any of these devices, except for the ones that are obvious like this one, where there's probably a ribbon cable problem with it. This LG on Verizon, its front screen and the surrounding area are very scratched, to the point that it's almost scratched away the Verizon logo. Not sure how it got that way. Must have been in someone's pocket with lots of abrasive sand or something. But overall, as durable as these are, I'm sure it'll work just fine. Missing the little port flap though, which is very common on these types of phones. This little Samsung, he might have sent me one like this before. Can't tell if it has any problems other than a few scratches on the front. And I apologize, I am not good at remembering certain model numbers unless it's for something very notable, like this Motorola Razer V8, which he did send me a battery for. And this is a gold version. I do not have a gold version. Well, I didn't until now. And the best part is, if you can see this well on your screen, it works. It's slowly booting up, but it's in pretty good shape cosmetically. I'll just need to find it a matching battery cover. No sticky soft touch. Just need to wipe off the fingerprints, and like I said, definitely needs a battery cover. Since this has no SIM, I will shut it off. Might go through the menus and test it more extensively in another video. Next up we have the LG Envy, or one of the first versions of it. And this thing is thick, even compared to the later models of the LG Envy. And this, the way it flips like a book instead of like a traditional flip phone would, is what makes it and phones like it more rare. There are only 3 models of phones, or series in the case of the LG Envy, that flip out like this. The LG Envy, the Pantech Impact, and the Samsung Alias, which flips both ways due to a special hinge it has. I'm very glad that I have this earlier model of the Envy. I have 2 other models, but they are not the first version. This front screen on it is a little bit scratched, but other than that, it is in pretty good shape. It's got a few scuffs and scratches. It's missing a volume button over here, but I can still press these contacts. I think that would have been a volume button. And it is missing the flaps for the charger and for the SD card. But most phones that have those flaps lose them eventually. Another neat feature is, instead of having a battery, or just a normal battery like most phones, it has a battery pack, which was common with older devices. Put this back in. Sure, that battery pack is dead, but I'll try to power it on. Yep, it's dead, but I'm sure this thing will work, and if not, maybe I can repair it. Next up is this little Sanyo flip phone. He sent me one of these before, but this one looks to be in slightly better shape. If there is a problem with it, perhaps I can combine the two to make one fully functional device. And last, but most certainly not least, is the Motorola Droid 4, model XT894. And this device is one of my all-time favorite phones. I owned one of these after I owned my Droid 2 Global and before my S5. I would still have it, but after I'd upgraded, I gave it to someone that I trusted to use as a backup handset, and it never came back. So, a lesson we can learn: don't lend things to people that you couldn't imagine not being returned. No matter how much you trust them, no matter how much they say they'll bring it back, don't do it. And it appears to have some kind of tape up here. The screen doesn't look like it's, wait, right there. This front glass is cracked. And this port right here, the USB port is missing. Sadly, on certain Motorola devices, specifically Droid 4s, Droid Turbos, and Droid Turbo 2s, these ports have a tendency to fail. But the good news is we can still charge it and test it, because we have these two leads that Tony very kindly connected here for me. So I could still plug this into a charger, any charger that is not a fast charger, and attempt to test it, which I will probably do in a future video. Now, I do want to repair and restore this phone and have a fully working, fully functional Droid 4 in my collection. There are two ways I could go about that. One, I could replace this device's motherboard, or two, I could solder in a new charging port. Both would require the device to be disassembled, but as you've seen before, that's not a problem for me. And these are all of them. In total, we have 14 different phones. And I will make a separate video as a collection update to show you how many of these and a few more new additions work and function and can be stored into the collection. Thank you all for watching, and thanks again Tony from Tony's Phone Collection for sending these to me. I will greatly enjoy testing these and possibly restoring a few. And I'll have to get the next batch that I'm sending to him together soon. This is RetroComs signing off.